Hello and welcome. You've arrived at the Good Newspaper Review and we're looking at the July edition. We've got some very good stories to talk about today. Basically, what to say to a hijacker and the way out of suicide. Those are the two stories we're looking at. Do buy a copy or read a copy online. I'm with my friend Trevor. I'm going to pass over to him now. He's going to review the first story. Trevor, over to you.
Thanks, Colin. I was reading through the Good News newspaper and found this article by a guy called Callum Mackenzie. Now, Callum had really struggled in life. In fact, he'd actually attempted to take his own life 3 times. He turned to pills and drugs and alcohol to save the emptiness that was going on in his life. And yet, amazingly, he found that Jesus Christ was the answer to that emptiness that he had. And so when he put his trust in Jesus as his Saviour and as his friend and Lord, that emptiness, that depression, everything went and his life was completely transformed. Over to you, Colin.
Thanks, Trevor. Yeah, God can change any situation you're in life. That's one thing I found. Well, this story I'm looking at really grabbed my attention when I saw it. Hijacked Plane Saved. I thought, what is this about? It's a true story. Just a few months ago, there was a pilot, a missionary flying to South Sudan, and there was a hijacker hidden on his plane. And the first thing he knows, he's got this man standing next to him and with a gun in his face. And Jim, the pilot, said, he lifts up the gun, shows me the magazine full of 13 rounds of ammunition and points it at my face. I mean, what would you do? I know what I do. I'd freeze. But Jim prayed and he asked God for help. And the gunman, he said, was very agitated and threatened to kill himself and everyone on board the plane. And as things escalated, this man was getting more agitated. Jim felt God say to him, change the conversation, change the subject, talk about Jesus. And he said, God promises to give us the right words to say, so I just took a risk. And he told the hijacker, Jesus died to bring him forgiveness and for his sins, and also, but if he believed in Jesus, he would get to heaven. Then Jim asked about his family, and as he did so, the hijacker burst into tears and broke down and said his family was dead. He took off his mask and he wept. Jim talked to the ground staff and they promised they would not kill him, so he told the hijacker that, and he allowed the plane to land. He wanted to divert it to Chad, apparently, but he changed his mind because of that prayer and because of that trust Jim had in God. That's an amazing story. Prayer changes situations and people. Trevor, over to you. Do you want to tell us about the Good Newspaper just to close us now?
Yeah, Good News newspaper is such a fantastic read, and if you're a Christian, it's a fantastic thing to give away to your friends who aren't Christians. But the Good News newspaper, in this next article I just want to mention, by a guy called Mark Foster. Mark Foster actually tears holes in the Good News newspaper. Now, by that I mean not sort of ripping it apart verbally, but actually tearing it apart visually. So he actually tears holes in it because he's a magician. He does magic tricks and then he restores the hole that's in the Good News newspaper in front of people's eyes. What a great thing to do. But it's just a great reminder to me and perhaps to you as well that Jesus is into restoring people's lives. He's into actually making those holes in our lives disappear because of his love and his compassion and his forgiveness. So I'd just like to recommend coming to know Jesus and putting your faith and trust in him as your Saviour. So rather than tearing holes in the Good News newspaper, how about putting your trust in Jesus?
Thanks, Trevor, and thanks for watching.